Yeah, so now you have these 9 constellations, two invisible ones, but they're there. And so they're integrated into the directions. And then the keepers of those directions are the animals. And they're also correlated to your mental emotional state. Sublime. All-knowing. Limitless. Revealing. Oscillating. Replicating. Welcome to the consciousness of the way. My divine, delectable co-host, High Priestess Jade. How are you?
I'm high. I'm naturally high.
That's right, right. It's like
Yeah, that one hit hard today.
right. You know, just the effects of sound and how we always talk about how powerful they are. Just a note, a frequency is so profound, and you're designed to tune that to whatever you need it to be. And I'm your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Quinn. Well, what an interesting podcast yesterday.
Yeah.
Kind of deep and meaningful, great response and understanding of how powerful Taoist affinity with the universe, how deep it is. You know, how people always talk about, you know, the inner workings of themselves, and then, you know, the premise and correlation of, or pondering of, you know, I am the universe is me. Well, we reiterate that as a knowing, not as a you know, as something to say or do. And it's realized by how we give you the tools that are necessary to realize that in this 3D, that you are the master keeper creator of your reality.
Yeah. And again, you resonate with what connects to you. It's like the universe, the power, the black hole, the scientific language. It all has its own place and its own meaning, and it hits you at different points, and you go, ooh, I got a little chill. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that sounds pretty good to me.
Right. And, you know, people want to make sense of this. This is where, you know, ancient scriptures come into place. Of course, our most valuable living scripture, the Tao Te Ching. We also use another vehicle that is quite commonly used within Taoism or within, you know, Asian culture, which is the I Ching. And moreover, you know, we have this sort of affinity with the deeper inner workings of the universe, understanding that's deeper inner workings of ourself. And so today we're really looking at the correlation within Taoism and, you know, the constellations, and, you know, the secret ones, the ones that we don't speak on, the ones that are more evident in parallel systems that would be relevant to Taoism, because astrology is such a big thing.
Huge thing.
You know, people use it in their everyday lives, and there's all different ways to look at astrology, and of course the constellations. Within Taoist culture, within Asian culture, we sort of lean on, you know, looking at the stars, understanding how deep and meaningful they are, and then integrating them into the very inner workings of this physical body, which can be emulated as the universe. You know, we got into the technical, mechanical parts yesterday with the black hole, which is, you know, mind-blowing. But now we look at, you know, okay, well, how you think, how you feel, and then, you know, using that ebb and flow of the universe and the constellations and a little secret, the hidden secret part. So, you know, most systems will use the constellations, and there are 27. We refer to 28, but really there's 27. But the 28th one is a hidden one that's sort of like a slight misdirection that, you know, Asian culture will constantly go over in relation to the evidence of it and what its meaning is. But, you know, within Taoism, there are so many different hidden meanings that, you know, if you say yay, it's nay. If it's nay, it's yay. It's up and down and in and out. But understanding that the constellations are relevant to the directions for Taoists. So, you know, when you're looking at the star, because, you know, what a constellation is just a formation of stars, right? And, you know, we talked about that yesterday in relation to what or how we derive or generate a black hole, which is from a dead star, the death of a star in of itself. Oh no, I just had that Death Star. Oh,
you just got that?
yeah, well, no, it's just like, oh my goodness, it's like Death Star. Let me see. George Lucas, you genius, you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those inner channeling messages.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, look at that. Look at the relevance of that and what that means in relation to Star Wars and how he basically, I would define it. He hasn't defined it. I'm defining it. He downloaded all this stuff, had it in massive channeling sessions, and in his opinion, he would probably say, "I just had some great ideas."
No, I actually think in an interview he said I got a download.
Oh,
Or like
good.
I think I've heard
Oh, good.
there's been like it might have been in like an older interview, but he's actually said the word I got a download.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good because I mean, he's never lost for material. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
What an
just
incredible
wild.
imagination.
Yeah, or is it? Or is it? So, you know, we look at the Death Star, right? We look at star formation. Star stepping for us as Taoists is the very foundation of our magical practice. We're steeped in very complex star stepping rituals that are correlated to the 28 constellations, or really 27, but there's another one that defies all the other systems. And now all the astrology that's integrated into different systems that are parallel or maybe the same or different to the Taoist stuff only leans on 27 constellations. And again, it's an interpretation for the individual. Now, we correlate the constellations in 4 different categories. So we're looking at the constellations from north, south, east, and west. And each gatekeeper of each group of constellations, which is 7, is...
What, the directions?
Well, it's actually, excuse me, it's 9. Or is it 3? No, it is 9. Anyway, you were saying?
The directions
Right.
are the gatekeepers.
Right. And the directions are, the gatekeepers of those directions are, for the north, it's a black tortoise. For the south, it's the red phoenix. For the east, it's the green dragon. And for the west, it's the white tiger. And so there's configurations within each one. Okay? So there is 7. There's 7 configurations in each one, but secretly there's only 27. And that's funny, because the misdirection of that and how we come to that conclusion is variable in certain systems. So they'll say it's the engulfing of this particular constellation with this one, which makes that the subdivision of that one. Yeah, I find it intriguing. In essence, I mean, the configuration is critical to how we use it when we design any type of ritual, and we will use the formation normally on generally on the ground, because we are star stepping. So what you do is you lay it out as the architecture of your hand. Okay, and so when you look at reflexology, they always reference the hand or the foot as a complete template for the human body, and that you can basically manipulate and master specific effects just by palpating. The hand itself will have a correlated effect to the whole physiology of your body itself, which then leans on the understanding that we reiterate, which is the universe is you, you are the universe. What are the chances of that? So within star stepping, we create a bagua in our hand. And so the bagua is really 9 directions, even though it's 8. That's another misdirection. We don't want to even go there. You can overlay what we call the sacred infinite flower on top of that bagua. And then again, it's 9 petals, not 8 petals. Oh, mind blower, mic drop. All this is all part and parcel on a much deeper layer. So you have the gatekeepers of specific 7 constellations. There's 4, which would bring in total 28. Mm-hmm. Or moreover, these are now inner workings of those directions. So guess what happens? When you work on those constellations in the north direction, you are working specifically the south. So the misdirection on that one is the north, i.e. yin energy, i.e. Jing energy, life force energy. So this is the much deeper understanding as a Taoist. So you're going in the north direction. It's the height of height of yin. And so if you're in the west direction, it's the birth of yin. Okay, so you have these 2 points, these pinnacle points, the starting of, or the baseline of yin, and then the height of yin. So you go from west to north, and that's the variable of yin energy per se, period. So when you're looking at north, what's that?
Oh, I was just thinking, like, just in relation to America, like the northwest being like, Oregon, Washington. It's like, I think it's something like 260 days out of the year is foggy and cloudy and rainy, and all of the yin elements. Those are all, very, very yin encapsulating.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so you use those 7 constellations that are in specific configurations, and they have their own title. I'm not going to go through all of them, but like each one has its own name, and that configuration then will evoke a specific energy center, i.e. chamber of your dantian. Now, what are the chances of that? So remember, let's do a refresher. Within Taoism, energetic architecture, we have an energetic body that was parallel to the physical body. You have 3 energy centers: upper dantian, middle dantian, lower dantian. And so the upper dantian, which technically would be north, in theory, you'd look at things and go, well, north is at the top, south is at the bottom, east, west. Not in this case.
No, everything is a balance.
No, not everything is as it seems.
Mm-hmm.
So north will actually be in the bottom, and it's related to your lower dantian. Through those 7 constellations, you activate 7 chambers of your lower dantian, which are reflected of specific energetic elevations that take place as you unlock each energy center. You start to increase the energy flow, which in turn literally supercharges your Jing, which is the lower dantian, which is the base of energy and magic and all things kaboom. And so those 7 chambers are activated with the 7 constellations. And you're like, Sifu, but isn't there 81? That is correct. So isn't the highest number 9? Isn't that the most powerful? That is correct. Once again, we get down into the nuts and bolts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The secrets.
Well, the secrets. Yeah, so, there's actually 2 more invisible constellations, which brings that number to 9. Right.
So if west is the birth of yin and north is the highest point, then what is east and then south?
Okay, so east and south. What a great question,
mm-hmm.
Jade. So east is the birth of yang. She knows this. She's doing it for you guys, and it's important because we have to create this. It's really important that we create this dialogue because I know you guys ask these questions, and Jade is really good at reading people's minds, so she just instantly puts in the type of a question that one of you guys would ask. Well, what do you think? What might that be? And of course, then I get to answer it. So I look smart. So yeah, base east is the birth of yang, and south is the height of yang.
Interesting, which makes sense on a, just like a I don't know what you want to call it, a sun level. I mean, the sun rises in the east. The hottest part of, is closer to the equator, which for us, most of us would be southern parts of America,
mm-hmm.
Is where that heat, that yang, that density comes into.
Yeah. I mean,
which is so powerful.
I know you can't make this up. It's so powerful when you
mm-hmm.
look at how it's integrated, and you have these epiphany moments. When I explain it to you, you go, "Oh, that makes so much sense."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so now we get into so north is really here, south is here, which would be in correlation to the highest point, which is also the upper dantian. Once again, 7 constellations. It's actually 9. The 2 invisible ones. And so you activate really 9 chambers, which then activate all 9 chambers. Excuse me. The 9 chambers then activate the 81 chambers. Everyone's like, oh, I felt that. Holy crap, that's huge. Yeah, it is huge. So now you have all 81 chambers activated, lower dantian. 81 chambers, upper dantian. Now, whoa, Sifu, what? Hang on, you've still got 2 more directions. How does that work out? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, yeah. Because the birth of both yin and yang merged together as one. Oh.
Wait, did you say yin and yang? The balance in the heart?
The
keeper?
Yeah.
the commander-in-chief that puts it all together?
What are the chances of that? What a coincidence that could possibly happen.
Mm-hmm.
So now you guys have a little bit more of an understanding. So then we with our sword fingers, and you draw the bagua, and then you can through the basically the grid that you create in your hand, you can start designing. And if you want to draw in a specific energy of a constellation, There are more advanced ways of doing this. I like to use just direct channeling, but let's just say we start there as an entry point for most people when they're starting to do specific rituals. You draw the grid, you draw the bagua, then with the grid, you can then connect the dots of the constellation to the grid, whichever constellation you are looking to draw the energy to. Ooh.
Now, would you say that most people does this have any relation to like the seasons, the 4 seasons?
Oh yeah.
And like, would people do these rituals and at
certain
certain times of the year?
Yeah. I mean, you want to
for,
get,
you
you
know-
want to, it's like anything. You want the ebb and flow. You want to get the high point.
Yeah.
So there are certain points of the year that the energy is higher, and there's certain points of the year that energy is lower. You want to get the high point. And it can still be a low point that's actually high. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you've got a tsunami this big, but it's still not out of the equation. You can hit that tsunami this high, or you can hit it here. It's still going to have an effect because there's high levels of yang, high levels of yin. As the yin is merging, you still have a high point of that particular energy.
Right. It's like the tide. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you want to hit it at low tide and sometimes you want to hit it at high tide,
Right.
depending on
Yes.
what you're going for.
Yes. And so that's completely relevant to what you want to do, what you want to achieve, how you want to evoke it. But moreover, it starts reflecting back on, understanding the inner workings, your connection with the earth and the universe, our affinity with the earth and universe, and then the constellations and how they're reflected on that. So now we get to how astrologists would mix and match these things to determine who you are. Now, I've spoken on this before, but I'm going to do a mic drop on this one. Imagine this. Jade and I keep teaching you guys every day, look, you are the universe is you, you are the universe is you, you are the field is you, the field is you, you are the field. We got it. We got it, Sifu. We got it. Yeah, it's the Planck field. Yeah, it's Albert Einstein's quantum physics, mechanics, blah, blah, blah. I just want to repeat that one more time. So understand this. If you are everything, think about it. Why would you be limited to the traits of a specific animal that would be associated, with your birth, that would be associated with the time, the date, your birth date, plus the season? There's a myriad of different things that they associate with how they read who you are as an astrologist. Moreover, someone would do that, and then you'd bring it down to a tarot card reader level, and we're off to the races and getting some sense of an idea of somebody. Let me bring this to your attention. If you understand you are the field and you're able to access that 5D reality, that would mean that you absorb everything. You are everything. That would mean so that when you are going, I'm having a bad year because I'm a year of the rat and it's actually year of the pigeon. I'm just being funny, but then I'm going to have a really bad year because I'm not a pigeon. I'm a rat. You are everything. That means that encapsulated, everything is a thought, feeling, and emotion. You are capturing all that right from a proton all the way to the flesh and blood that we see in front of us, the electromagnetic field, the space-time that is the space between us is empty, but it's not, it's full, because if we're looking at it from a photon level, it has the black hole. The black hole is basically the source of infinite amount of abundant, timeless, endless, limitless, infinite information, energy, light. So if that's the case, you would be all things. So you're never having a bad year again. You're never having a bad reading again because you're all encapsulated. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And do you think that, I mean, because, I mean, in like Chinese culture, their 12 animals are based off of the year you were born versus like the month, which astrologists are, you know, the zodiac signs are the 12 of each month. Do you think that they took um, the kind of idea of that to elaborate a little bit more of just what type of energy it was when you entered into this space, being, you know, you being born?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, if we go deeper on, primordial, you know, expose, deeper level understanding, embryonic breathing. These are basic primal breathing techniques that we use. But moreover, the understanding that you choose your parents is a whole new mind blower, right? We won't get into it today, but everyone can just be left with, what did he just say? Did he say I chose my parents? Hell no. Yeah, well, that comes into the spirit realm, and we go into a much deeper level of understanding how that takes place. But know this to be true, that you have chosen your parents, and you are the teacher of your parents, and that's how you've materialized into their lives. Mic drop.
And I think astrology too, it just like science or anything else, is just a different language.
Oh, yeah.
To help make sense of all of these things, of all of your inner workings, of all of who you are, what's your purpose, what's your design, what are you here for, all the questions that people, you know, they gravitate to. And if you gravitate to astrology, I mean, I think the universe is absolutely so powerful. And
the answers are, you have the answers inside you. But
you do.
if you're looking around, you're going to find them outside of you and inside of you, all around you.
And you're going to find what resonates with you.
Now, here's a really good one, an ultimate mic drop. So, our highest, most powerful number is 9.
Yeah.
How many months does it take to create a human being?
9 months. Oh. Well, people could argue, but...
Drop, mic drop. I'm done. I rest my case, Your Honor. Yeah. Take that to the bank and digest that one.
Yeah, and I mean, you do kind of ask yourself, like, why isn't it 6 months? Or why isn't it 3 months?
Why isn't it 2 years? Why is it that specific number? Understand this, know this to be true, and then moreover, link it down into the constellations. Then link it. We will go there. Don't you worry.
Yeah, interesting.
There are no coincidences. Everyone's like, what did he just say? That's blown my mind.
Yeah. Amazing. So how do the constellations now how do they change? Do they change with the hemispheres? You know, because you do have that split where, whatever, yin on the top, yang on the bottom, for people who say are living in the southern hemisphere.
Right. Well, again, this is a really interesting thing. This comes down to consciousness. And now we understand, and we've spoken on this, the 9 dimensions, the 9 levels of your consciousness, from a dot all the way up to a realized being one with everything. And then you just multiply that from 9 to 18 to 27, and so on, etc. But understand this, it's like, as Jade has expressed and asked that question, it's like wherever you are, you're just seeing things at a different angle. We're all interconnected. Consciousness, baby. Oh, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, mic drop.
Yeah. So it's like, looking from the left to the right or the right to the left. Either way, you know, you have both or you're experiencing both. That
Yeah.
mirrored effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so now you have these 9 constellations,
Mm-hmm.
two invisible ones, but they're there. And so they're integrated into the directions. And then the keepers of those directions are the animals. And they're also correlated to your mental emotional state.
So, what would be an example that someone would want to use, like a star stepping ritual with the constellations
Mm-hmm.
for? Is it more lean towards like manifestation or magic or healing or?
All of the above. It really depends. You want weather magic. You want any type of ritual or magic. We're going to lean upon those energies. They all have different frequencies, vibration, energy. Everything has its own unique signature. Depends on what it is that you are creating.
Mm. And is there a parallel between the moon
Mm-hmm.
being a 28-day cycle
Mm-hmm.
and the 28 constellations and the power the moon also has within that, system?
Well, yeah. I mean, you layer this down to a whole heap of other mechanisms, um, but it's forever revealing what you can make of a specific constellation to the effect that it has within the earth plane is like instantaneous because we're all interconnected. Understanding that um, um, the sheet of superglue that is our reality, and we just move it like this, we don't have to do anything, it's just there because we're all interconnected. We're all one. And so that instant use of that constellation energy for change here in this earth plane,
Instant.
instant, which is really moving it beyond light speed, but it seems instant to us.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it is. Oh yeah. Well, it's really important to understand. So that now we lean on the gatekeepers of those particular constellations, and then we relate that. And some people that would be astrologists using, Chinese astrology, which is basically Taoist astrology, you can determine someone's mental emotional state from these particular constellations in groups of the directions that they're in. Now we for any of the the star stepping magic, you create the bagua with the sword fingers, do that, and then you use the grid and you basically connect the dots like you would
Tic-tac-toe or
tic
something.
tac toe and create the constellation that you're looking to draw that energy for, and then direct it to wherever you need it to go. Um, the 4 directions are quite simple. North, which is the height of yin, we have the energy, which the virtue would be, patience. The emotion is fear. Then we have, uh, and the animal is the black tortoise. Then you have the green dragon, which the emotion is anger, and the virtue is gratitude.
Hmm.
So that's kind of interesting. And then, you can mix and play these depending upon whether there's an excess or deficiency in the individual, but then the virtue to emotion would vary. And so east is, which is no, that's the green that's the green dragon. That's So east is a green dragon. That's the one that is anger and then gratitude. South is the red phoenix, which is, love. And then you have love, and then the other side of that is complete sadness, or more like, it stays with love, and then the opposite of that would be sadness, or you could categorize that in subsections of different things, but at this particular moment they want to use sadness. Then you have the white tiger, which is basically helplessness, which is the emotion, depression, a whole heap of other things, and then, complete content and stillness, which is really interesting because that's a reflection to the lung channel. And sometimes these will vary, and understand this, they can vary. Those particular categories were given to me today, but they can vary from day to day.
And for somebody who feels deficient in a certain energy center, or like excess, like say I'm the Hulk angry. Mm-hmm. I just have so much anger.
Excess anger.
I just what would you go to balance that out and level that out?
First, you would lean on two elements that are two of the same, wind or wood, and you can balance those energies out, and then you will get the acquired virtue. So you'd be excess or deficient, and the particular organ is a liver for the anger, which is related to the east, which is related to the dragon. And then for south, the red phoenix would be the heart. Then for west, the white tiger would be the lungs. And then for north would be the black tortoise, which is yin, which is height of yin, which is black blue, and that's the kidneys.
So if I feel like I'm way more east, I would gravitate more towards the west to kind of balance.
And that's how they move, because that's really where you've got the peak of both those energies at the top and bottom, south to north, and then east and west are the birth of both those energies, and they merge together.
So it's like if I'm a little more in, I would bring more out in to pull myself back to
excellent
to center.
Yeah, and I mean,
or balance.
That's a really profound way to look at it, because that cuts out a lot of the little intricacies that I've mentioned that don't necessarily have to be addressed if you do it that way.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So would you say that people who find themselves really strong, like I said, in that kind of anger or like east, I guess I think of like New York and how angry New Yorkers can be, or something like that. It's like they're in the east. They should they should maybe want to gravitate a little.
It's interesting how that's like
west.
So pertinent and relevant to the very destination of where they are within the planet Earth, on that side of the coin when it comes to the actual directions and what that really evokes. Because it sounds like a stereotype, but quite frankly, I've never visited New York City without coming across some very belligerent, angry, and extremely frustrated people with life.
Yeah. And then you find more of like the maybe sad, lonely, or a little more depressed on in that very like foggy, no sun, wet types of environments.
Yeah. What comes to my mind? San Francisco.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a classic one.
Yeah.
And that, that is a whole nother ball game, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to all the spirits and energies in there. There's a lot, man. I mean, I've been to a lot of places and experienced a lot of energies, frequencies, vibrations. house clearings, feng shui, basically, energizing a house, changing the energy flow, removing bad entities, all that kind of good stuff. Understand this. San Francisco used to be a graveyard, and they exhumed the bodies and they put San Francisco, the city, on top of it, which there lies all the earthbound energies, more likely than not, that run rampant through so many parts of San Francisco. It's not funny. It's like, man, if I was a Ghostbuster, I'd make a fortune. And I mean, this is going on all the time, and then it replicates itself, and we're talking about generational replication that's on a whole nother level.
But it just goes to kind of show you, depending on where you live or what, and what's within yourself, how that epigenetic energy flow has an effect on you. And it doesn't mean, I'm not telling everybody, oh, hey, if you live in Florida, get up and move, or if you live in New York, get up and move. No, not at all. No. It's about mastering it and understanding the system and using these tips and techniques so that you do create the best flow within yourself. And, your environment is a huge part of it. And we've talked about this before. There's plenty of different tips and techniques that we have to change the energy flow of that environment, whether it's your house or, wherever it is that you live,
or moreover,
work, or
how about your temple? So if you're trying to, which then you will fail. So you don't want to be here listening to Sifu. You have a knowing you are changing your state, mastering yourself, becoming the master keeper creator of your reality. Then you would go and you would download the Way 126, subscribe to the app, and blammo, hit play and watch your life change instantaneously with a visual, audible experience, creating a kinesthetic response that supercharged, that validates it to you, that it is true to you, not me, not Jade, not anyone else. You are able to validate that as being a truth, because you must feel it. That is a big key component. There's a thought, emotion, and a feeling to everything in your life. That's the three little ingredients that basically are the register of everything that you do. That's all encapsulating. That's everything that you know. That's everything that is. And so when you are moving through your life, you want to change it, just as Jade is talking about the epigenetic model, understanding your thoughts change your reality. You are a product of your environment. You can switch on and off your gene expression with your thoughts alone. That understanding right there is how you're able to master yourself using the visual audible experience, creating a kinesthetic response with the Way 126. And it works on your neurology, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. And when you are arrived to that realization, that's when all of a sudden profound things take place. So you have this ability to master it. I was taking some people through the skill set. So once you go through the first 9 weeks, you have what we call a 126 chamber and a manifestation chamber. Sifu, what is this 126 manifestation? You have two spaces where you now have this virtual digital training center that you can go to and evoke all this incredible integrated mastery that you have created over your experience with the 126 through the first tier. Now you're going to experience the effects of this instantaneously within the first second that you are exposed to the 126, and it only builds on itself. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger, because the real point and pinnacle and peak of what this whole system is for, it's a system, it's a method. It is not some fruity, airy-fairy sort of thing where you're going off and you're, I want to just be all lofty and play this and listen to that and just sort of sit in the lotus position and pontificate. No, you get on this app and you just follow it. You hit play and the system does everything for you, because you have the neurology. You are a human being. You have 5 senses, and that's the gateway. That's the gateway, baby. And when those 5 senses absorb the material, visual, and audible, it evokes the brain waves that make you highly conscious and highly porous at the same time, being able to affect change. Now, what happens is through this information, understanding that you create that coherence, synchronizing the heart with the brain, using the mirror neurons, the sensory neurons in the heart and the brain, you create this 0 point hertz frequency that then connects the brain with the gut. The gut is the mirror effect of the brain, which is the connection with the heart, that is the commander in chief, basically the badass that's telling you what to do, when to do, how to do, and direct information. It's always going to be 1000% accurate for you, never wrong, the truth teller. We call it that for a reason. Understand that you are creating this system. And once you experience, as I remind you, once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. So with that premise, with that understanding, with that knowing, which you will find within the app, you instantly feel it. So what happens is you get to use the 126 chamber, the manifestation chamber, and it instantly evokes this neural network that you have supercharged within yourself, being exposed to the visual and audible experience, creating the kinesthetic charge. It's now yours. You own it. It's for you and for you forever. It doesn't disappear. It doesn't fade away. You have mastered this skill, and it gets stronger every day. It doesn't get weaker. That's part of how powerful it is. And you're utilizing your time. You're utilizing your ability to maximize the results, because I know everyone has gone through this. We get people coming to us all the time. I've done the 5-day retreats. I've done the 7-day water torture where I get up at 4, I go to sleep at midnight, and they want to immerse me in this training. Well, this is really good. Or you've gone and got the app and you've meditated for 5 weeks. It only works while you're doing it. And when you walk away, it has 0 to no effect. And so the biggest stumbling block that most people have, they get to it, they go and do these practices. They either go away for a retreat, completely shift themselves, right? This is this whole theory of identity shifting. You go in there, you're like, oh, it's the best I've ever felt. They finish the 5 days. They go back to what they consider their life, and it's as if they never left. And this is the problem with a temporary fix, a Band-Aid. This is not what we're offering. We're offering you a mastered solution to your disappointment, your disheartened, basically helpless feeling that arrives from all the attempts that you have made attempting to create a solution to the things that don't make you feel good, and your body's inefficiency to utilize itself, i.e. Insomnia, lack of sleep, impatience, emotions controlling you, lack of focus, lack of motivation. All these things, you acquire all of the above and another dozen. I can't even list it because you keep developing it. But let's just say, if you're looking for a better sleep, a better focus, a better feel good, and acquire those particular desired effects that will happen by themselves as you just get exposed to material, and you'll realize that in real time, then this is the app for you, because basically it's the solution to all the problems that everyone's chasing around, attempting to figure out, work out, and never find the solution for, and yes, get disappointed. It's kind of like how Jade and I have talked about this. There are dozens of different practitioners of alternative healing. Know this, you'll get one that's really amazing. You'll get an amazing Reiki healer, and you'll get a terrible Qigong healer. You'll get an amazing acupuncturist. You get a terrible acupuncturist. You get amazing massage therapist, a terrible massage therapist. And that then determines your experience.
Yeah.
So it makes it very easy for us, because most people are disheartened, disappointed, and frustrated because they're unable to achieve these goals. When you use the Way 126 experience, that is not the case any longer, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. Mm-mm. You acquire a skill, and at the end of the first tier, you'll have spent less money than you would for one therapy session with anyone you can imagine. Just a run-of-the-mill therapist costs you an arm and a leg and you're firstborn. That's not the problem here. We've just created a vehicle and an ability for you to obtain this. All you need to be is a human being. And so that will be obtained through the Way 126 experience. And I guarantee you will master your state, master your emotions, and they will no longer control you, you will control them. And that is the very essence of what we talk about with that coherence. That coherence puts you in that state. Once you master your emotions, you're not incoherent anymore. So now you have the ability to shift into that coherent state instantaneously by being trained with the way 126. And then you are creating brainwaves that put you in a state of beyond the 3D reality that you're in. Now, what does that mean, Sifa? Well, let's just start with you master your emotions, but just so happens you also are, by being put in this state, these brainwaves are being activated, you are realizing the field as you. Just so happens you can then start, and that's why you have the chamber, the manifestation chamber. Bingo.
Yeah, it's like a super concentration. Like, I don't think anybody wants to eat 200 heads of broccoli, but they want the benefits because the benefits are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So the 126 chamber and the manifestation chamber is like, I want those benefits of, that deep brainwave state of 200 hours of meditating, but I don't want to do it. So I get it in a concentrated, micro dose, but yet I get the whole benefit of doing it. And that's what makes, those so powerful when you've already gone through it. It's like you can just take that little concentrated hit and you're like, whoa, how am I haven't even done anything. I literally just press play and I'm there.
Right.
I'm deep in that state.
And you're training yourself, so you literally will be like, you can be thinking, I'm going to do the 126, and you're like, ooh, I'm starting to feel this already having an effect on me. Yes, you've created that. And moreover, what Jade said was, it's a concentration. So you're doing a 126 experience once a day for less than 30 minutes is equivalent to 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of meditation, 8 hours of relaxation, like that. So what does that do for your neurology? What does that do for your hormones? Oh my goodness. What does that do for your gene expression? We can just go on, one thing after another, more and more, and more and more and more and more and more, because this is what's the most powerful component to the way 126, is you become realized. The field is realized. You are the field is you. That realization is the epiphany, because that's sinking. Even though we've never left it, you've just been compartmentalized. You have become a thinker, not a knower, and we are just bringing you home. So we merge the two. We merge the brain as one, which in turn is only because the master and commander-in-chief is saying so during that synchronization through your neural network. Blammo, and then you get the gut feeling, which is, I'm home. I'm one. I am. Well, not really. You don't even have to say I am. Don't say I am. It's just the feeling is the recognizing state that you are the field. You don't have to go, I am the field. You're already there, which you're already there right now. Only due to the circumstance of your realization within your life experiences, there's been a separator. All we're doing is bringing you home, so you're no longer separated. You are whole. You are singular. You're one. You are knowing, all knowing, and that's when it's magic time, manifestation time, healing time. Blammo, blammo, blammo. Get it done.
Yeah. And I think when what is so powerful is when, people do go on these like retreats or these experiences where they're, taken out of their environment, they're put in this immersive thing, they get that glimpse, they get that taste. Ooh, this is what a Lamborghini feels like. Ooh, I like this. I feel supercharged. I feel it. And then they go back home and, the same problems, the same issues, the same events, the same people, the same instances are all in that space. And they go, oh, wait, I still have a Pinto. I want my Lamborghini back. Whereas you're doing this in the convenience of your own space. You're doing this, whether it's in your house, in your car, at work, at the gym. This is integrated into your daily life. You don't have to escape your daily life to feel this. It is in your daily life, which therefore changes all of those problems, stressors, insomnia, lack of focus, anything that you have that is feeling like it is weighing you down, allowing you to be the master, keeper, creator of your life. Because it's one thing to go on vacation and feel amazing. It's another thing to come back and go, oh, Monday morning again.
Monday morning blues.
Monday morning blues.
And, and that's it. It's like a concentration of a realization, an empowerment. And this is one thing about Taoism, and it's moreover of Eastern culture, is nothing goes to waste, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. That means that we are masters at utilizing anything and everything. And one of the most precious gifts you can have as a human being is time itself. And when you start to playing in that fourth, fifth dimension, and you're collapsing space-time, that's a whole nother ballgame, right? Let's just say this: as an immortal, as a human being, the most precious thing that you have on the face of this earth is time itself.
Yep.
And so that's one of the driving forces to us creating this app, Way 126, is being able to cut through all the BS, all the red tape, and guess what happens? Your time is concentrated, but every second you spend on the Way 126 is being realized in your own master skill that you will be able to play with at a second-to-second basis. And you'll come to that realization. And as I was saying before, I think I kind of went off topic, but I got a couple of people that have gone past the first level, the first tier, and they were like, "Oh man, I think it's amazing. The chamber is incredible. The Way 126 chamber is amazing. I like it. Instantly evokes everything that I've worked on all this time, and it's realized instantaneously." Because I get a lot of people that are like, "Okay, I've started it, but it makes me feel so good. I'm only supposed to do it once a day, but can I do it more?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, you can do it." And I mean, people sometimes are doing it 2, 3, 4 times a day because they cannot get over how they freaking feel. And what's going on there, though, what they don't realize is they are training themselves to be even more powerful, more concentrated, more isolated. And so you can literally think it, and you will start having the rippling effects of the Way 126. So what I was getting to was, so these people did the manifestation chamber, the 126 chamber, both of them having profound effects, and you instantaneously are able to realize a 5D reality. Moreover, is, okay, I'm in the chamber. Now what, Sifu? I'm on level 2. Level 2 is off the chain, is a whole nother level. But I want to make sure that I've still regained that, because this is human beings. You got to test it. I want you to test it. I mean, come on. If you don't test it, what's the point? I'm all about it. I'm a put up, shut up kind of guy. I'm ain't about this fluffy, talky. I'm going to show you. And so I said, all right, cool. Guess what? Here's a little tip for you. And they're like, what? I can't wait to hear it. All right, there was a handful of maybe 4 or 5 of them. I said, everyone, close their eyes. And all I want you to do, because this is about how you've mastered your skill, this is how powerful you become, right? All you need to do, in your mind, you don't have to say it. Remember, we're working on the other senses. We're now developing. All you need to do is say, I want to experience the 126. And then you do another couple of things that are part of the integrated training. And all they did quietly in their own minds was evoke the intricate workings that they had developed through this system. And as we can all feel it right now, and Jade and I can feel it, the buildup of this energy that's taking place right here within us, it's like this furnace of energy. That's how fast, once you've trained yourself, it never leaves you. You are mastered. That means that this is battle tested. This is not like you have to get into the lotus position and think you're in a bliss state, or create this sort of environment where you're doing specific things, that techniques that'll get there. This is battle tested for you to use in the real, what you consider your real world, instantaneously. You don't have to be thinking of lotuses. You don't have to be gravitating with a mudra and imagining, wildflowers and fairies and moon dust and all the rest of it. You have integrated this into your very essence, and you can access it at will. That's the power of this app.
Just like the universe.
Just like the universe.
Or the stars.
Or the stars, which are the universe, which is us. That's you, I am me, and blammo. Well, I think we went over a lot today.
Yep.
And I'm kind of
jacked.
I'm excited. I got supercharged. So anything else you would like to add, Jade, in closing before we leave these incredible people today?
Yeah, I think this has been a really good kind of, just a little bit more of an understanding, a little more into Taoism and more in depth of different, the symbols, the animals, the stars, how everything kind of interconnects. And it always comes back to the same message that we always say. It's, you are everything, all is one is all. And just another reiteration for more people to be able to get.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much, in summary, everything. Where are we at? I'm going to create my reality, as I always do, and make it very, very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And riding on the wave of those incredibly hypnotic, infectious, embiotic, oscillating magic that is the sleep frequency of the way. No plug. YouTube channel. Check it out. My favorite, all-time favorite, shakuhachi. And with that, I am your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Quinn. I'll see you on the next one, guys.